Howdy, folks. I'm Nosferatu,
I'm Amber.
and here's some Reddit. It's actually Brian.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
I know you
You
are.
stole it from me. Amber's like, I'm going to distract Brian for a moment and then swoop in and steal the Friday Junior from him.
I have to always make sure people are aware that you are Brian and not whatever absurd thing you claim to be.
I'll let you folks decide in the comments below if Amber's right. She's not.
I'm just telling people the truth.
The truth. You can't handle the truth. That's why you're watching Brian's Advice. I'll tell you sweet, sweet lies. I won't lie to you, folks. You know me. I do tell the truth. All right. Our first letter is titled, Am I a jerk for telling my wife it's embarrassing that she gave our daughter's bus driver cookies? Some important details. My wife is very shy, but enjoys giving and is all gung-ho about showing appreciation to workers she assumes aren't appreciated or recognized. She tries to pass these beliefs onto our kids. Horrifying.
I know.
How dare she treat other people like human?
I know.
Gross. Because she's too silent to show her appreciation, she does it through gifts, usually baked goods. Ugh. I've been embarrassed about this in the past. Our oldest rode the bus for the first time. My wife was waiting at the stop with our daughter and her to hand the bus driver a bag of homemade cookies. Then, when she picked her up from the stop in the afternoon, she gave a bag to the afternoon driver. I asked why she did that when she could have easily have just said thank you and left it at that. She said the bus driver's work is so hard, having to comfort all the nervous kids and handling the unbehaved ones while driving, they deserve more than a thanks. I reminded her that this has embarrassed me in the past, and I think her behaviors are too extreme. I wouldn't want gifts from someone I didn't know. She ignored how I felt. I contacted some people in my life to see if I was just crazy, and most of my friends and my mom agrees that my wife's way of showing thanks makes everyone uncomfortable. Am I the jerk?
What kind of people are made uncomfortable by someone giving someone else homemade cookies?
I know every single time I've gotten homemade cookies, I feel uncomfortable about it. Usually from eating them all. Aaron's like, that's true.
It is true. It is true.
I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, homemade gifts are, sometimes, like, I can understand if someone was trying to lose weight or if someone had a special dietary restrictions or was allergic things, then it might be it's a little dicey to give someone gifts that you aren't really familiar with per se, but I think as a nice kind gesture.
Right, and as long as someone's not like deathly allergic to the food, they're probably going to appreciate the gesture even if they can't do anything with it, because it shows someone took their time to make something for them.
Yeah, and people have different types of love languages and different ways of showing appreciation, and one of them is through gifts. Sorry.
I was just gonna say, and also he says specifically that she's shy and not very good at talking to people, like. And so it's perfectly valid to be like, here's a gift, instead of like going up to someone and being like, thank you.
Yeah. Well, and generally, if this was like a high value monetary gift, I could see why it would make someone uncomfortable. Like if she was slipping them hundreds.
Right.
Here, have $100. Yeah, that could make people uncomfortable, being like, why is she paying me $100 to take your kid to school?
Right, but a batch of homemade cookies is not going to elicit those same feelings.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, at a certain point, like, they did some experiments with, like, giving gifts, and, giving someone a piece of gum, for instance, would make someone more willing to do a favor for you, right? But if you started giving them, like, large monetary value things, they became suspicious, and the opposite would happen. So, people are, and I'm not saying that she's trying to get them to do them a favor. She's just trying to, show appreciation. But what I'm kind of saying is that small value gifts aren't going to make people feel uncomfortable generally.
Our next story is titled, Am I the jerk for naming my dog Brad?
Yes, let's move on.
No. We're going to read this one. So I've always thought it's funny when dogs have human names. Much more amusing to me than giving them obvious names like Spike or Jellybean or whatever.
Jellybean isn't a person's name? Oh. I've made some horrible mistakes.
Oh? Are you gonna come clean?
We'll just leave it at that.
What have you done?
I don't know.
How many secret children do you have named Jellybean?
At least a dozen. I just didn't have any other creative names. It's like Jellybean 1, Jellybean 2. I mean, you can't have like one Jellybean. You gotta have a whole pack of them, right?
Never had an issue with Brad's name being what it is until recently. My sister got a new boyfriend, and I'm sure you can see where this is going. I don't think I even have to say his name. Well, my sister came over the other day with him, and we met for the first time. Everything was all fine and good until he asked what my dog's name was. I laughed a little and said that his name was also Brad. He looked at me for a second and asked if I was joking or not, and I told him no, his name actually is Brad. After that, his whole mood flipped, and the remainder of the visit just had an uncomfortable vibe. A while after they left, my sister called me and started berating me for disrespecting her boyfriend.
Such disrespect.
Honestly, this seems like such a Brad thing for him to do. I don't think I've done anything wrong here, but maybe I'm wrong? Should I have lied about Brad's name so I didn't risk hurting his feelings? So the first edit, here's a picture of the said Brad. The dog Brad, not the human Brad.
It looks an awful lot like a Brad fastener to me.
Edit 2. Well, my sister saw this post and so did Brad number 2. They have been bickering and apparently split up. Brad number 1 and I don't want any part of that nonsense, so don't call me till you figure it out, Sarah.
You know, there's lots of, like, Brad fasteners, for instance, are named Brads, right? I can't understand why anyone would be offended at having a similar name to a pet.
Right, it's not like OP named the dog after Brad. The dog had the name before the boyfriend was in the picture, it sounds like.
Yeah, and I could understand him being uncomfortable if she had gone out of her way to name the dog Brad after the boyfriend.
Yeah.
Like on the Pirates of the Caribbean where they named the monkey Jack. You don't remember that?
No, oh, I've completely forgotten.
Yeah, they named the monkey Jack. The pirates named the monkey Jack after Jack Sparrow. So.
Yeah, well, so like
Amber's like, what kind of weird, absurd things are you bringing up, Brian?
Well, no, that's fine. I just don't remember movies very well. But like when Brian and I met, and I'm sure I've told this story before, but when we met and he heard my name, he's like, I had a dog named Amber. She died during the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
And I think there's important context around this. I wasn't hitting on Amber.
No. He just heard my name and that was he was like, oh, I had a dog named Amber. But like, I wasn't like, oh, I'm not going to talk to you because you had a dog named Amber. And like, even if he had actively had a pet named Amber at that time, it'd probably have been like, well, this is pet Amber and I'm human Amber, you know? It wouldn't have been like, oh my goodness, a pet with my name.
Well, I think the thing is, like, Brad got so offended and upset by this, and I'm not really sure why. And I mean, I think he's very immature to be so angry and upset about having a pet named similarly to him.
Yeah, well, and I love giving pets human names.
Yeah.
My childhood cat, so his name is Joey, but his full name was Joseph Jacob Hathaway. The Joey was what my cousin named him, but he had to have a proper full name, so I elongated it for him. Not that we ever used it, but like he had a full first, middle, last name.
I named one of my friend's pets Benjamin. Cat. His name was Benji. And he was a good cat. I guess he got given away. He also had a biting problem. Well, he would bite people. So one day I bit him back and he never bit me again. Well, I mean, I think the cat learned that not to bite me because I was like, wow, that's mean, Brian. It bit me. It kept, every time I would sit down, it would just start, like, it wasn't even like kind biting. It was like vicious, like it's leaving marks on me type of biting. So I bit it back, and it didn't do that anymore, but it did cuddle up with me, and it still liked me. So it wasn't like it was angry or anything. I think it just needed to figure out that biting people was mean. Everyone in the comments, I'm getting so many dislikes on this video for biting a cat. It wasn't hard. I didn't draw blood. Our next letter is titled, Am I a jerk for kicking my sister out of my house and exposing her to the whole family? Exposing makes it sound like she's a disease. And after this, reading this, you might agree. I'm a 26-year-old female, and I have a 35-year-old female sister who lost her home due to her husband's gambling. They practically lost everything and were forced into eviction. Our parents had always preferred my sister way more. She's the perfect child, perfect husband, perfect house, perfect career. She's a doctor, and thus came to me for help. She cried and begged and said please let her stay with me and not to tell anything to her parents until she was divorced. I did because I know how mean they can be. My boyfriend and I own a 2-bedroom apartment. The guest room, that's rather small, and our room, that's a lot bigger, has an in-suite bathroom with a bathtub. This is important. My boyfriend is currently staying with his parents in Texas, so I have the whole house to myself. We talked about it, and we agreed to let my sister use the guest room and pay minimum rent for a few months. Everything was fine at first until a few weeks ago when we had some problems with the bathroom my sister uses, and she had to use mine. When she found out I had a bathtub, she was thrilled. She asked why I didn't say anything before and told her because it was my personal bathroom and I didn't have to. The problem got fixed in 2 days, but every once in a while she would ask me to use the bathtub. I said yes a few times until she stopped asking and began to go into my bath every time she wanted. She then tried to leave her products there until one day I found her sleeping in my bed. I woke her up and told her to get out, but she said it wasn't fair that I had a better room and better everything. And that she said that she was a doctor and deserved the room way more, and the best thing was to move into the small room and let her have the master bedroom. I was mad. I could not believe that she was in my house trying to rule over me. I told her that it wasn't just my house but my boyfriend's too, and that she had to get her things and leave. She said I was overreacting, and I told her that yes, sure, but I know this is how things usually are, and I don't plan on having it her way. She said that she didn't have anywhere else to go, and I told her too bad. She had to come clean to my parents and is currently staying there. They're mad at me for kicking her out and, quote, forcing her to embarrass herself in front of them, and that I owe her my house for free for as long as she wants.
What is wrong with these people?
Which is indefinitely. She just took over your house permanently. You're now paying rent to your sister.
Yeah, like, what kind of twisted logic is, well, I'm a doctor, so I deserve better things in life than you. Like, well, use your doctor's salary to buy your own things.
Yeah.
Like,
well, and the thing is, like, I feel bad for her sister in this case with the whole gambling.
The gambling thing, like, that wasn't her fault.
Yeah, and like gambling addictions can be one of those things where people who gamble are very good at hiding them, and so you might not realize that they've gambled away everything, right? And this is someone who you trust. I'm assuming she trusted him, and they may have had joint accounts and stuff like that, and then he may have just like wiped them out in inside of a weekend.
But I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, but to say that you deserve better things in life because you're a doctor, like that, like to the person who's letting you stay in their house out of the kindness of their heart,
I can see why they would want to nip this in the bud.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame OP for kicking her out at this point in time because this does seem like a pretty massive boundary violation. I mean, I think it would have been nice to let her try to have a second chance, but the way the sister sounds, it sounds like she would have, give an inch, take a mile type person.
Yeah, it sounds like this isn't the first time this has happened, something like this, and that like OP knows what to expect. So if she doesn't kick her out now, then pretty soon the sister will own the whole house, basically. Yeah. Our last story is, am I the jerk for telling my brother he can't date my fiance's brother? I'm a 28-year-old female, and I've been with my fiance, a 28-year-old female, for 2.5 years total. but we started out our relationship as childhood friends. My brother's a 31-year-old male, and he also knew her and her family as a child. Last week, my brother told me that he and my fiance's brother, I'll call him John, have been together for 6 months and are thinking about moving in together. I told him no, it was totally inappropriate and awkward, and that he was dating my soon-to-be brother-in-law. He said that I was exaggerating and that he gets the right to be happy too, which I agreed with, but not with him. Apparently, they fell in love in high school and only recently got together, which is bothersome to me. It feels creepy and weird to me, which he did not understand. We stopped talking about it and have not returned to the conversation since, but I am still upset. My family thinks I should just let him have what he wants. My fiancé agrees it's a little weird. My friends are mostly torn and Google hasn't given me any concrete answer. Am I the jerk for telling my brother he can't date my fiancé's brother? I say yes.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tricky situation. I can certainly understand why OP would feel uncomfortable. But being uncomfortable doesn't give you a right to dictate the relationships of other people.
Right, and it sounds like that he and the brother were in love in high school, and it just took them a while to get together. So it's not like you have a claim on who your brother dates.
And I mean, I do understand like them feeling weird with their brother dating their brother-in-law, but it's one of those things where no one who looks at that from the outside is going to be like, oh, you're dating a brother or something like that, right? I mean, most of the time people people don't look at brother-in-law type relationships quite the same as they look at step relationships, right? These aren't two people who literally grew up in the same household and, from a very young age. These are two individuals who, grew up as friends and their friends matured into something else,
Yeah, so I mean, I think Opie has no right. She can be weirded out by it if she wants. It's okay if she has uncomfortable feelings.
Yeah.
But she needs to drop this and let him live his best life.
Yeah, I agree.
I got it in 3 minutes. Brian told me I only had 3 minutes, so I got that one in real quick.
Oh, I wasn't serious.
I thought you were. I was rushing to get through.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't even serious. If we go over by a minute, it's not a big deal. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, consider giving me a like. If you didn't, consider giving me a dislike. Thanks so much to Amber for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Happy Friday, Junior.
Happy Friday, Junior.
And I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
Bye! I was treating it like the Danny Lowry speed round, so I was speeding through it, where they have the 1 minute to answer.
Yeah. Our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Wife It's Embarrassing That She Gave Her Bus... It's embarrassing that she gave our bus cookies.